connect this to a battery that you suspect might be running low on volts and test the battery. Once you connect these, it doesn't read off of this battery anymore. It'll read off of the leads. So you can connect this to a battery that you think is dead, push this red button, and it will tell you how much charge, how many volts are in the battery that you suspect is bad. You can also use this to power anything 12 volt DC through this cord. So, I mean, there's not, you know, a lot of options to do stuff like that, but you can do it. So, and like I said, you always have your gauge here to know how much you have left. But if you're saying off-grid or camping or something and you want to use this to power something, you can do that. Has lights here. When it's charging, the light will come on here, red, until it finally charges, and it'll go green and shows you that your charging is complete. But other than that, it's a pretty simple piece. There's not a lot to it. It's just, there's some instructions here on the back to how to connect to a battery. You know, the red positive, black to a ground, an engine block, metal or something that's on the vehicle. But very, very simple to use. This is something that you could give to your wife or a daughter, somebody that's not mechanically inclined, and they could use this very easily. And there was a situation with my daughter's car. She had a Honda Civic where her battery went dead, and I tried to jump it from my truck and could not do it. I figured there was something more wrong with the car than what was just the battery. So we had to call a tow truck. When the tow truck driver got there, he had one of these, and this started the car, whereas my jumper cables would not. And from what he told me, sometimes the jumper cables in today's newer vehicles, they don't have enough amp, they don't have enough power to get another car started. And true or false, I don't know, but that was the situation with my daughter's car. So these are not cheap. They're 150 bucks on Amazon, and it's basically about half of a car battery. But it's the way these are used, it's so easy. You don't have to connect two vehicles. You just get this out. You connect your positive to the battery. You connect your negative to the frame, and they immediately start the next vehicle up. What's nice about these is, although they're heavy, and I didn't weigh this, but yeah, it's about half a battery, is you're able to check, you know, how much you have. As you can see, I have 100% here. I've had this for a year. I've used this about 7 times on other people's vehicles, my lawnmower, stuff around the house, you know, that's gone. And it's just so easy because you don't have to go get another vehicle, get a vehicle running, get it close enough to the vehicle that you're trying to jump. You don't have to worry about if you're parked in a funny way, trying to get, you know, if there's no parking spots. You just carry this over there, bam, it starts right up. I had this for a year. I just charged it for the first time. So I've jumped about 6 or 7 batteries with this in the course of a year without charging it, and this has just been sitting in my truck in the cold, in the heat. Nice thing about it, when I charge it up, you just plug an extension cord into it. Takes about 4 to 6 hours. And one of the benefits of having one of these things is the newer vehicles that have, like my daughter's Civic, if you disconnect the battery, the computer in the car loses all its memory and has to kind of go back to the dealer to get rebooted. And that costs more money than this cost to get my daughter's car rebooted after it went dead. If you have an older car, not an issue. The newer cars, the way they make them, the electronics they have into them, they have to have a continuous power. So what you got is you have a 12 volt outlet here, and they give you this with it. So you're able to connect this here, plug this into your vehicle that you're taking the battery out of, into the dash, and keep the vehicle powered so that you can take the battery out, go get another battery, put it in, and you don't have to go through any of that nonsense of having to have the computer reset by the dealer, which, like I said, costs more than $150 in our case. So after that all happened, this went on my wish list. I got this for Christmas. completely happy with this. It also has the ability to, you can charge this from your vehicle if you're traveling and you're using this a lot. You can charge this directly from your vehicle. The only thing is, I don't believe that the gauge works the same. So what they recommend in the manual is not more than, I think it was like 6 hours, depending on how drained it is to begin with, because you can overcharge this by doing it 12 volt. If you do it with AC, there's never a danger of overcharging it. In fact, they said you can leave this indefinitely on AC, plugged in, keep it topped off, and the unit will cycle itself and keep itself topped off and not run the risk of overcharging. So for me, I'm glad I have it. I stick it in the back seat of my truck, behind my seat. It stays there all the time. And like I said, I've charged other, jumped other people's vehicles, and it's nice to be able to just not have to go through the aggravation, like I said, of finding how you're going to park to get close enough. If your cables are long enough, you just carry this thing over. The way they make them, they wrap up your cords this long. It's very, 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 very well designed the way it works. And if you're a person that likes to do stuff yourself, and you kind of want to avoid the dealerships when it comes to battery changes or simple maintenance like that, these things are worth their weight and will pay for themselves.